believe in the Dallas Cowboys, which everyone did all week. My goodness. Hi, I'm Jeff Cavanaugh, and this is me. Cavanaugh! And I am alongside my co-host, my dear friend, one of the best people on planet Earth, and former Dallas Cowboys wide receiver, Jesse Holley.
Oh, Jesse Holley went 77 yards. It must be a reality show.
Jesse, I picked it. You were hating all week, and I said there was no doubt that the Cowboys were going to win this game. So I was just wondering, would you like to apologize? Because I knew all along. I knew it.
Listen, I'll be the bigger man of the show, and I'll eat my crow. I've put my crow in the air fryer. I put a little seasoning salt on that thing, and I've been eating my crow all day long because I didn't think the Cowboys had a shot in this game. But this is why you play the game, and this is probably why I don't play anymore, because I'm not good at picking teams, and I darn sure wasn't good at playing the actual game. So
yeah. I'm ruining the show by talking over you, and I'd like to apologize. That's just the way I like to do things.
Go ahead and pay the bills, though. Let's get that out the way.
Exactly. You're talking about picking games. If you're better than me at it, I try my best. And we encourage you, if you're into this sort of thing and you like to be like, hoo, and make every game interesting. Hell, I do it with NASCAR. Head over to Bet Online, the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports contests and events, first to market odds and lines. Like we told you, if you'd taken the Cowboys, it would have been such an easy, comfortable victory, and you'd have so much money. We all saw it coming. Find reviews and news for every league. You get your MLB, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, golf. It's Bet Online, the top online resource for all your sports information, live in-game betting, props, and futures. So go to Bet Online today or use your mobile device to join and make that first sports bet. Promo code is BELIEVE50, BLEAV50, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts. Like I've always said, you can't leave that much time on the clock for Cooper Rush.
I mean, he's the GOAT. He is definitely the GOAT. I think Dez used Bet Online too. He bet his $10,000 last night in the Cowboys. Said he won $37,000.
Oh, that sounds like he went on the money line. He thought they were actually going to win the game. That's impressive.
We have yet to see the ticket or the confirmation of the ticket, but
you think it's like a Floyd Mayweather thing? By the way, in the chat, they're asking to spell BLEAV 50. We pronounce it believe, but BLEAV. We take out some letters just because why wouldn't you? It's the way we like to do things. There is no other place to start, at least according to me, than Micah Parsons. And he was a pass rusher in high school, okay? In high school. In college at Penn State, dude was a linebacker. He just ran around and tackled running backs and stuff. And so when they picked him, I was like, oh my God, they used a top 12 pick on a linebacker, and I hated the pick. I would like to apologize for not knowing that Micah Parsons is not a linebacker. Micah Parsons is the best pass rusher in the NFL. And he didn't even do it in college. Like, if you pay attention to the first couple of drives of that game, once upon a time, the world was like, well, your left defensive end is your bigger and stronger defensive end. And so Tank Lawrence has been the left defensive end of the Cowboys forever. But either Micah likes it better over there, or they wanted to go after Lyle Collins, because Tank Lawrence was a right defensive end this week. Micah Parsons was your left defensive end. And there is no freaking stopping that dude. I like Lyle Collins. That was a long day for him. Micah Parsons is unblockable, and I don't know what else to say about it.
It's been a very long 14 days for Lyle Collins. Just T's and P's out to Lyle Collins, because his confidence cannot be very high right now after dealing with TJ Watt a week ago and dealing with Micah Parsons this Sunday. You said Micah Parsons played rush in high school. He didn't play at all in college. I honestly, in my heart of hearts, and I'm not making a joke, I don't think this dude is a regular human. I think he's an alien. I think Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith are looking for him. I think he's stolen someone's skin, and he's just running around here among us average folks out here doing whatever the hell he wants in the National Football League.
The good guys dress in black. Remember that, just in case we ever face-to-face or make contact. The title held by me, MIB, means what you think you saw, you did not see. I know the Will Smith theme songs.
That was impressive. That was
we can do Wild Wild West too if you want to. I'm sorry. What were you saying about Micah Parsons?
But no, and I also think that the Arlington police are still looking for Micah Parsons because it was a physical assault. And we talked about on our kind of leading up into this game, this was going to be one of those coordinators games. And Dan Quinn just basically said, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the best player on this football team, quarterback included. Micah Parsons is better than any other player on this football team, Dak Prescott included in this conversation. And I'm going to line him up any and everywhere I want, and I'm going to give him one job and one job only. Whoever has that oblong ball, you go and destroy. And if there's anyone that is standing in your way, you destroy them first, and then you go and destroy who has that oblong pigskin. And he did it time and time and time. Leighton Vander Esch got the easiest sack that he will ever get in his life because Joe Burrow was running like a hooker at a church, trying to get away from Micah Parsons. And there's audio out now that Joe Burrow looks to the sideline during one of the timeouts and he goes, I guess Zach Taylor wants to call them to play. And Joe Burrow
Don't go empty.
No more empty sets. No more empty sets. Please, God, please. Not only do I don't want to get sacked again because I got sacked 6 times, but I've gotten hit a whole bunch of times. And a lot of it's come from this dude. And he's not like Micah might have the quickest 3 steps ever. And I'm putting Lawrence Taylor in that conversation. Ever.
I mean, that's who he is. I'm not old enough. Like I've seen tape of LT. Like, he's Von Miller. That's who he is. He's Von Miller or better.
I think he's gonna
like even better. And like Von Miller was a freaking 20 sack. Like Micah Parsons, here's the thing. If they let him rush the passer enough, if it's his full-time job, Micah Parsons will break the single season sack record this year. I promise. If you just make that his job and he doesn't spend 30 or 40% of his time at linebacker, he will break the single season sack record. He's got 4 through 2 games. He's going to get 2 every game. He's going to have 34 freaking sacks. He's going to break the sack record by 10. That's what Mike is going to do.
And the offseason pickup of the year may be Anthony Barr. Simply because, and here's why. Because Dan Quinn goes, hey, I just need someone to be a serviceable middle linebacker. That you don't have to do much. But if you do that, then I can deploy this other alien that I got from Mars. I can line them up in the middle of the field, left, right, wherever I see there's an advantage, I can line Micah Parsons up because I now have a comparable. I have a halfway decent athlete, a smart middle linebacker that can play football. And this game, and I know that praise goes to Cooper Rush for him stepping up and having his second start and his second victory, another fourth quarter comeback. But this doesn't happen. I don't care what PFF grades out to Diggs. I don't care about none of that. None of this happens. None of it. Guys are getting sacks, 2 sacks again. They wouldn't be able to get there without Micah Parsons. All of this happened because of the absolute havoc that Micah Parsons was creating, and it never allowed, not until they finally decided, hey, we're just going to really run the football and take out on a 19-play, 8-minute drive where I don't know why Zach Taylor didn't go to that earlier in the game, but you thought dropping back Joe Burrow 5-7-step drop was going to work, and you didn't double up that dude number 11. But Micah Parsons is arguably the best player in the National Football League. I don't care the position.
I mean, he is the reason you won the game. And you mentioned it. There's other guys we got to talk about. Like somebody, Nicholas in the super chat said, how good is our linebacker core compared to the rest of the league? Honestly, I think when you watch Vander Esch play and Anthony Barr play next to each other, I say your linebackers, they're okay. Like that's what your linebackers are. They're okay. Secondary, they're okay. Your defensive tackle group, meh. You have Micah Parsons. Dorrance Armstrong ain't getting 2 sacks in another game. Well, he might because he's going to keep playing with Micah Parsons. But like Micah was responsible for the 2 he got and at least 2 more. Where like the one, was that the Vander Esch one where Micah like spun inside on Lyle and Burrow was like, oh crap, gotta go. And he's just like, you go run into somebody else.
He was running out like a hooker in church. He was getting up out of there.
Okay, this one I'm going to say real quietly. Okay? I'm going to be real quiet about this one.
Hookers don't go to church?
No, they do.
They're in a choir.
I just want to ask the whole world very quietly. Are y'all sure that we were supposed to crown Joe Burrow just because the Bengals made it to a Super Bowl? Are you sure? Because going into this game, the one thing I said you would have is Joe Burrow's game has the highest level of, here's a nerd word for you, variance amongst kind of pocket QBs in football, because he won't let plays die. He's going to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. And that's how you get sacked 6 times. On at least 3 or 4 of those, if he so chooses, he can throw the ball somewhere. But no, he wants to keep it alive, keep it alive. Where's the big play? Where's the big play? Where's the big play? And he's a good quarterback. But man, we get in a hurry to be let's do this with some other guys. Like Joe Burrow and like Justin Herbert. If they play a close game against the Chiefs, we crown them because we want to pretend that Pat Mahomes isn't the best quarterback on planet Earth. And it's like, wait, but Pat just beat him again. And they're like, yeah, but did you see how good he played? Like Josh Allen. You see how good Josh Allen played? That's the league MVP. He's the best. Mahomes beat him. Yeah, but we got to find somebody new. It's fun. Like Burrow, because the Bengals went on a good postseason run from the 4 seed, led by their defense, actually. Like we decided that he was one of the 5 best quarterbacks in football. I'm going to say it quietly.
You know, I'm going to go hunt down the tweets where I said I literally said that like last year. And I was like, I'm like, even their run was an odd. You don't get sacked 30 times in the playoffs and make it this like that. Even that was odd. They should have lost multiple times during their run in the Super Bowl. And they were supposed to go and revamp their offensive line, and it looks just like the old offensive line. It's just now you have a bunch of black guys that are not playing. I'm not making this racial, and a bunch of white guys that are playing. Nothing changed. Nothing changed with that offensive line. He's 13 sacks in 2 games. So it's a Joe Burrow problem, and it's also they just can't block anybody.
Kennart says, did Tank do anything? You need to stop dissing Dorrance. Guess it's too late to get Jimmy G. Yeah, it's too late to get Jimmy G. Jimmy G's going to make an extra like $6 million this year too, or $5 or $6 million this year, because he gets $250,000 every time that he plays 25% of the snaps in a game in his new deal, and he's going to play 25% of the snaps in every single game. Trey Lance is out of there. Yeah, Tank was okay. It's hard if you're a Cowboys defender because you ain't going to notice anybody because of Micah Parsons. Like it's all you're going to notice. Tank had a run stuff on the first or second drive of the game. Like that's the one thing I remember of his. But like Tank Lawrence is always just going to do his job. Formula said, pool fund. How do you feel about Peters left tackle and Tyler left guard? Think it will add lots of power to that left side? That's a good question because Tyler Smith, once again, it's goofy the amount of natural ability that Tyler Smith has. I was rewatching the game and like Tyler Smith does not win with his punch or with his hand placement. Like most offensive linemen, if they had the technique of Tyler Smith, would give up 8 sacks a game. Yeah. But the dude is so strong and flexible that like this guy got into my chest. I'm turned sideways and I can still stop him.
Strong.
He's strong with a K.
Strong. That's a different type of strength.
Tyler Smith is a strong son of a business.
Like he's strong. You got strength, you got strong, and then you got strong.
Okay. Tyler is strong.
Yeah, and just to give you like a quick Peters, and this is from my boy Will Steele. Jason Peters snaps at left tackle, 12,248.
Yep.
Snaps at left guard, 1.
Hell yeah, let's go.
So
so this is what the Cowboys are going to run into because I know how the Cowboys think, and the Cowboys are always thinking about their long term and their young guys and developing them. And now you're 2 games in, and Tyler Smith doesn't look out of place at left tackle, and they want him to be the long-term left tackle. So they might do dumb stuff and just leave him there. I shouldn't call it dumb. I guess I would kind of understand. But if you do go back and watch that, people out there, humans, Matt Farniok is bad. The left guard is bad. Tyler Biadasz played okay. Zach Martin played well. I think Terrence Steele played well. And Tyler Smith played well. The left guard is bad. And if you want to not have a weak point on the offensive line and Jason Peters is ready, you put Jason Peters at left tackle, you put Tyler Smith at guard. and you let him scrong his way around in there. And sure, later on, if I want you to be my franchise left tackle, I'll get you there. But right now, Cooper Rush just gave me a chance, baby. We're breathing. We won a game. I got to put my best 5 out there. And if Jason Peters is ready, that involves Jason Peters. It was so, the game was, it's fun because you won.
Mm-hmm.
But man, it was such a simple, boring sort of deal. Like the Cowboys were like, we scored 2 touchdowns. And then from there on, it was like, can we get to the end? Can we just get to the end? Like you go look up the wide receiver number 3 on this team in that game was Dennis Houston. He played 21 snaps. Didn't notice him ever. Simi Fehoko, I know he was in the game because he false started playing receiver to get him to 3rd and 9.
Which is so dumb because you were so far outside. How did you can't even hear out there. Like, how do you jump and you're that far away from the football?
I don't know. But like Jake Ferguson played more snaps than any wide receiver not named Noah Brown and CeeDee Lamb. So like there was nothing explosive or exciting about it. But I think Cooper Rush made the 2 plays he had to make. Well, 3 plays because the touchdown to Noah Brown is obviously a big play. 4th and 2 on the first drive where he made the play to Noah Brown. Mm-hmm. And then 3rd and 9 on the second drive to Noah Brown. Were both no, the 3rd and 9. Yeah, the 3rd and 9 was definitely Noah Brown. That was the one that was coming across. The 4th and 2 was over, in the middle too, to Noah Brown. Yep. He made the 2 plays he had to make to get enough points for you to go, hey, Micah, can you go stop them all day? Can you stop them all day? And we'll see if we can add 3 points later. So is that sustainable that Noah Brown as wide receiver 2 is going to make a bunch of plays and help you win a football game? Is it sustainable? That offensive line, is it Micah's sustainable?
He's sustainable. For Noah Brown, I said this on my show earlier. Noah Brown is somewhere in between what you saw this Sunday and what you saw last Sunday. Find an even medium in there. I think that's where you have Noah Brown. Because even when you look at that game, he had 5 catches for 90-something yards. He had 4 catches in the first half and did not see a ball again until late in that football game where he had the tip. And actually, when you go back and you watch it, if they don't tip the football, that's an interception. Like that will he had a couple. The only thing that would have stopped that from being an interception is if he dropped it. Because that thing was sailing, numbers high to the safety. The tip of the ball slowed it down and allowed it to get back in play for Noah Brown. But do I think Noah Brown's a 5-catch, 100-yard guy every week?
You don't think Noah Brown's a 1,600-yard receiver, 1,700-yard receiver?
No. I think Noah Brown is somewhere what you saw this Sunday is somewhere in between what you saw this Sunday and last Sunday. I think he, if it's a 5-catch game, it's a 5-catch, 50-yard game, 49-yard game, 45-yard game, 65-yard game. I don't believe that Noah Brown's a 5-catch, 95 yards. Like 5 catches, 95 yards, and a touchdown. I don't think that's who he is. And again, no knock against Noah Brown at all. I'm just saying I don't think that's what his ceiling is per game. We've yet to get, this is now 10 games that CeeDee Lamb has not reached the 100-yard mark since he's last reached it against Minnesota with Cooper Rush a year ago. But, kudos to Cooper Rush and Kellen Moore because they did what they did what you needed them to do. I need you to come out and to be efficient. I need you to come out and score early because I don't know if Cooper Rush would have lasted in a shootout. So when you got up early in this football game, especially in those first 2 drives that they were touchdowns, you've now given yourself a cushion where Cincinnati had to go out there and kind of try to play. They had to play catch up. And when they had to play catch up, that fell into your hands because you have the best football player on the planet who literally was salivating at the mouth, like waiting to get after the quarterback. The one question that I kind of had, which blew my mind when I was watching the game, and I haven't got a chance to watch the replay back today, but just to watch through the game, I didn't understand why Cincinnati played the defense that they played. Because when you line up and you go man-to-man across the board, single high safety for a backup quarterback, he's saying, thank you so much. Because I don't have to sift through and read this thing out. I know exactly.
I know how to read this. Throw the slant.
I know how to read this. I just have to get it there, and whatever happens when it gets there, whether they catch it or not, is not on me. But I was sitting there and I'm like, I don't understand. Like the football person, he was like, I don't get it. Why?
Okay, so I kind of do. I'm with you, but I'm also dumb enough that I get it because a lot of NFL coaches are dumb. And so I can kind of think what they're thinking because I think it's the same thing that happened at Minnesota when both of your receivers went for over 100 yards. And it's because they're like, dude, that dude can't beat us. So what we're going to do.
You have to know that I do have Eli Apple out there. Like, coach.
Right. But you are giving him the one way he could beat you, which is make it easy for him in terms of the reads. But I understand the thought process of going, Dennis Houston ain't doing nothing. Jake Ferguson ain't doing nothing. Noah Brown ain't doing nothing. So they're going to want to run the ball and we're going to try to stop it. But yeah, I'm with you. It's stupid. What you should do is every team should dare teams. I bet you won't run the ball 14 times to get down the field. I bet you won't. I dare you to.
Right.
And, if a team is willing and can pull it off and it makes the blocks and doesn't commit penalties and they go 15 plays and 75 yards and punch it in, okay, maybe next drive we'll think about it. But what really hurts is when you're getting 15 and 20 at a time because an okay receiver is going up against an okay DB and it's one-on-one. That's what hurts.
Eli Apple's less than okay. Eli Apple's bad. Like
I agree. I'm sorry. I was just speaking in general. I apologize.
I'm like, Eli Apple was really, really, really
bad.
Well,
you don't think most NFL teams would look at Noah Brown and say, that's a bad starting receiver?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had kind of bad on bad. Although I'm telling you, it's really weird. I've never seen, Jason Garrett loved that Noah Brown was like 230 pounds and liked to block. Camp this year was the first time where he's like 205 pounds and running routes. And I was like, oh, somebody told him like, hey, it's okay to actually play receiver. You don't have to be an outline blocker. Like you can run from routes.
That was always my knock against Jason Garrett and kind of my disdain towards him was Jason would put you in this box and once he put you in this box, you were not getting out of it.
Noah Brown was a blocker.
Like he was just like, Noah Brown's a blocker. That's it. So that's all he's going to do when he comes in the game. I don't care if they know it or not. Like, and that was the biggest problem. I was like, why do you do this to people? You put the people in this, that's not how you grow talent. But yeah, no, he's come out and he's not a bad player. He's not a number 2. But if you give me enough opportunities going one-on-one and my route is a slant, I'm gonna win just off natural ability, just off size. I'm 6'2", 205, 10 pounds.
It's geometry. I'm gonna get across his face, and I can reach.
And I can reach like that. Like I am in the National Football League. I may not be, Jefferson or Chase or one of those guys, but I'm here, so I can at least do this. And I was sitting there, and I was like, why are you not making Cooper Rush read through all of these windows and holes and find a spot to throw it in accurately, consistently? I was just like, boy, that was a dumb game plan. But such is life, and it worked out in our favor, and they gave man-to-man coverage, and Cooper Rush, to his credit, he found the open receiver, which happened to be, you talk about chemistry, Noah Brown is the guy that he works with all the time in practice.
Yeah, because he's been the 5th receiver here up for forever.
In scout team, in practice, all that Cooper Rush does in practice when Dak Prescott is there is he may get 1 or 2 reps at the end of a period as they're getting ready to transition on, and he's running all of the scout team. He and Will Greer are splitting all of the scout team reps. And Noah Brown's playing scout team as well, and has for a while. So this is that was the chemistry that was coming together, and it worked for the Cowboys. And like you said, there has been life that has been breathed into the lungs of the Cowboys with this victory against the Bengals.
And we'll see if Jerry and Stephen Jones are full of crap, which we know at times they are. Let me get to formula real quick. He said, you think Michael Gallup's back for the Giants game? Barr played well in this game. Let's just see what they say through the week on Gallup. And then I think the other question is, and it might have been a super chat that I missed earlier. Dirk, here we go. How long will Gallup take to make an impact on the field coming off the injury? Because that's what I wonder about. The idea that, okay, I got cleared and I've practiced for a couple of weeks and here we go. Now I'm going to go be a good NFL player. I don't know. How realistic is that? That the day they say you may play, coming off an ACL that it's like, all right, our receiver core is fixed. Michael's back.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to see it. I think it's more reasonable that like he's good, like a good receiver in a month. Like you got to be out there and be sure of yourself and catch a slant and get smoked while your weight is on the reconstructed leg. Like I think you got to go through that stuff before you're like, oh, okay, now I'm ready.
No, I agree with you 100%. And you're the resident knee expert here anyway. You have the horrible knees. But absolutely, like if he comes back in week 3, I think he'll be back week 4. It's going to take another 4 games before he's comfortable at doing it at that level speed, because you can practice all you want. We're seeing a lot of in these early games of quarterbacks and teams and players who don't play in the preseason and trying to get back in it. And those guys are still practicing full speed. So when you're just coming back from a couple weeks of getting in, and I get it, you're on the side with Britt Brown and you may get some teamwork in, but there's another level. There's a speed or two higher that you have to go to in an NFL game. And then not only that, it's not going to be scripted. Like you're not going to be like, hey, right now you're going to run routes on air. You're going to run a 3-yard slant and then go in. Well, what happens when you run that 3-yard slant, goes in, and now there's another linebacker flying at you and he falls, and now you got to be able to plant jump over him, right? There's all these things that happen in the course of a game that you cannot predict, that you have to be ready to go through. What happens when you jump up again and go for a ball and come down in the lane? Like all of those things are in the back of your mind, and you got to work yourself through. So I agree with you. So a month, 4 weeks, that's 4 games. It'll take about that amount of time before he gets his sea legs back and able to go out there and perform to anywhere near the level he was before he got hurt.
Random guys that I want to give credit to that we haven't mentioned to. Well, the first one's not a random guy. Tony Pollard's a stud. And if you're going to win with Cooper Rush, it's almost like Noah Brown played a big role in it. Don't get me wrong. Like he caught a touchdown and he had the 4th down play and a 3rd and 9 conversion. Like those are big plays. But if you're going to win games with your backup quarterback in the NFL these days, I think it takes somebody who gives you one of those Pollard plays. And on this team, it's got to be Pollard, Lamb, or maybe Cavante Turpin will do it one of these weeks with a big play. But that's why Tony Pollard needs touches, because Zeke ain't outrunning that dude. Zeke ain't outrunning the angle on, it was 24, wasn't it? Was that Eli? No, which one is he? It was 20, whatever. That sort of play is
20. Hinton is 24, and Cheeto is the other one. I think
22. But Pollard, and I was so mad at the replay because I'm such a Pollard stan that I was like, they're going to call him down, and he's already on the field. Like they're going to let him get his touchdown, but they're going to bring down his yards per carry, and that hurts me. I needed him to average 5.5, not 4.8, but he had to go get this 1 yard run for a touchdown. It's ruining my stats. I'm sure he'll take it for the touchdown, but shout out to Tony Pollard, because that dude is hell to deal with and the best running back on your team, as I say over and over again. And I'm sorry to everybody who hates me saying it.
No, his explosiveness is what separates him from Zeke. His ability.
And by the way, that was a catch, not a run. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did. When I looked at the stat, I was like, because when I was like the rushing, I was like, man, it should be 6.1 yards a carry for the rushing total. I was like, wait, where's that big run at?
Flipped it to him like right down the line, and I was like, that's a run. Give my guy his credit. And it's like, nope, that's a catch.
Like that's a toss sweep. Come on, guys, let's make this thing what it is. This is student body left. Let's not do this. Let's not make this thing difficult. But he has a level of explosion, and he has a level of vision. And there was one play of the right-hand side. I don't remember when it was, but you just
the one where he made the cut.
Oh man, and that hole was probably about that big, and I mean he hit it right. And if the hole did this, I mean he went through it and it closed, and he was gone to the 2nd and 3rd level. And you don't get that now with Zeke. You got that at one point in time with him, but you don't get that explosiveness where that hole opens up and he bursts through there, and he has the extra gear where he can run by guys. So I'm not fighting you on this of Tony Pollard absolutely needs more carries. But again, they're always going to find a way to give the $15 million guy his fair share of carries. They have to, and I would hope that you would think like, hey, the money's already gone. Like, it's already gone. So let's just go out there and try to do our very best with what we got. And Tony Pollard is the guy who probably should get the bulk of the carries going forward.
Yeah, and Zeke actually, I do think Zeke is running it well. Like, I'm not actually hating on Zeke as much as it's one of my favorite things that people assume that I just think he's awful. Like, he runs it well. It's just a different level of burst, a different level of being able to get through holes and being able to outrun people. That I want the opportunity for any play to be a big play, not just to consistently you got what you were going to get and then fell forward. I want the juice. And Tony Pollard's got the juice. Salute to the offensive tackles. I thought both of them played well. Tyler Smith and Terrence Steele. And salute to both of the safeties, Donovan Wilson and Malik Hooker. Like, Malik Hooker coming out of Ohio State, it was all about that dude's free safety, sideline to sideline. He's going to pick passes off. At some point in the last 18 months, Malik Hooker turned into a run defender that is tackling his ass off. But you do have to preface any defensive player that you're giving credit to with part of it is that Micah Parsons is on your team. But both the safeties played well. Those are my random guys I wanted to sneak in before we were done.
You know, it means a lot when you're playing the safety position and you don't have to worry about 50-yard bombs coming over your head. I mean, every now and again, yes. But for the most part, you're thinking to yourself, boy, if they do a 5 or 7 step drop, there's a good chance that Micah might get there before they even get this ball off. I mean, go back and watch the film. There were times where Joe Burrow would get to the top of his drop, and Micah was rounding the corner. He was like, and you could just see on his face, like, oh, not again. It's like.
And if he wasn't rounding the corner, it was because he decided to spin or make an inside move, and now Joe had to run out the back.
Yeah. But yeah, shout out to Donovan Wilson. He is a heat-seeking missile. And even on his penalty, that's a penalty where you as a coach, you go, hey, that's on me. Because that's who you are as a player. And I never want you to second guess that. I know we don't want penalties, but the last thing that you can do is clip the nuts of a player like Donovan Wilson. Because if he stops being a heat-seeking missile, then he stops being the player that you put him on the football field to be. When he was making tackles all across the field because he has no fear, he wants to come down and lay the hit on you. So that type of play, you go, hey, this one, that's on me. All right, let's be smart. When we see the quarterback coming, like, let's be smart. But this one, I'll take this one. But you keep playing fast, physical football because that's what we need from you. And you saw the Cowboys do something that they got. The Cowboys in the past, when the teams begin to assert their dominance and assert their physicality into a football game, in the past, the Cowboys would fold. But again, when you have Micah Parsons and he's the catalyst and the leader of your defense, even on that 19-play drive, 8-minute-plus drive, like they were getting what they wanted at times, but they were still fighting. They were still holding on. They were still making it difficult to get the ball. And they changed the way that Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow ran offense. That's a big play offense. There's a reason why Joe Burrow holds the ball the way that he holds the ball, because they're saying, I like my chances with T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and Jamar Chase. If you just give me a little bit of time, these guys will eventually – like, that game was perfectly set up for a Cincinnati win. Hold them, sack them, do the get up. I didn't hear no bell, get up, one more round, and then they'll hit you for Jamar Chase, 40-yard out the back door, deep over, and they go win the football game. But I think this defense just they held tight, and they didn't give Joe Burrow an opportunity to make that big play. They tried, but every time they load up to go try and do it, you had Micah Parsons in the backfield wreaking havoc.
My last thing of the day is we have to do something about the first drive when Anthony Barr got called for hitting Joe Burrow on third down when Joe Burrow ran but didn't really slide, and Tank had just grabbed his foot and he's falling forward. And if you're a quarterback and you're falling forward on third down, I ain't throwing a penalty for you ever in life. If you want to be protected, slide. If you're going forward and trying to get a first down and you did not slide and somebody hits you as you're hitting the ground, I know we don't want a league full of backup quarterbacks, but slide. I'll protect you. But slide.
If you watch around National Football League, they call that all day.
I know, and I hate it because as that player where a dude is running and it's a 3rd and 8 and he's still running and Tank kind of got his foot and now he's kind of dive coming forward, and it's like, and my instincts to process all of that as a defender has to be don't touch him.
I know.
Man, that's hard.
When they listen, owners.
What if I didn't see that Tank clipped his foot a little bit? Because now, if I don't touch him, are the refs going to call him down? Is he going to roll forward for a first down? Like, it's absurd what we expect defensive players to be able to do.
Probably, but I can guarantee you this, and you know this for a fact, Jeff. When those owners are at these competition meetings and those owners are at these owners meetings, they're saying, "Hey, listen, guys, damn it, I got $500 million into this quarterback situation.
Yeah.
All right, guys, listen, these quarterbacks are $50 million dudes now. So we got to figure this out because what we can't do is we can't have a bunch of $50 million dudes standing on the goddamn sidelines because that we need the revenue to be there. We need the product to be there. So
they need to call a quarterback fair catch then.
Listen,
going down.
Whatever it is, they're the owners, and they can gripe and moan all they want and yell, but the same people who you see on Sunday may yell at that are the same folks when they go down to Florida or they're in New York at these owners meetings. They're saying that product, the guy that we're paying 46, 48, 50 million, $500 million to, we have to keep them in the game. Now, freak things happen, but stuff like that, we can't allow y'all to tee off on our quarterbacks anymore because the price tag is getting far too great for me to have a $50 million investment on the sideline of street clothes. That's our owner's call right there.
The Joneses are pretending Dak might only have one more game to miss. We'll update that throughout the week. How about that? This is Believe in the Dallas Cowboys, part of the Believe Network, brought to you by Bet Online. That is former Cowboys wide receiver Jesse Holley. My name is Jeff Cavanaugh, and I have nothing else for you today unless Jesse has something that he wants to sneak in. Otherwise, I will tell you. Remember, you have no idea what anyone's going through. Oh, I've had a new therapist this morning that does take my insurance, and he was good. We're locked in, baby.
Baby.
No idea what anybody's going through, so be cool to everyone. I love you.
Eliminate the contingencies.